Hey guys, Zarbix here with another video for Warhammer Online Return of Reckoning, the Age of Reckoning private server. Is me, Zarbix, from Twitch and YouTube. Here with a video on consumables and items that we'll be using, in and out of combat, things to make your character stronger, something that a lot of people have asked me for, and I've noticed there's a lot of new players who don't really use potions at all. And it could be that they're, they can't afford them, they don't know where to get them, or they really don't know how powerful they can be. So to start this off, there are quite a few things you can use. There's two kind of buff potions you can use prior to a fight. They can last anywhere from 5 minutes to 60 minutes. These are like permanent stat boosts to your character. So the most common one that you're going to use is there's going to be a primary stat potion for your characters. So for like casters, it'll be one like Lasting Potion of Brilliance. This will give you more intelligence. There'll be one as well, Lasting Potion of Power, that'll give you more strength. There'll be a willpower one, there's going to be a toughness one. So these are your main stat potions. Usually they last an hour at max, and you buy those from the auction house. It's a craftable item, players craft them. One of the main potions you'll use, pretty cheap to buy as well. The other, so that's your like offensive potion if you think of it like that, something that boosts your offensive stats. Then there's also a defensive potion you can use. These are things that will increase your, like give you a thorn proc, it's going to give you resist, or the most common one used is the armor potion. So similar to the stat pot, this one gives you an increase of armor for an hour. And this is, so both of those can be active at the same time. If we use these right now, we'll see it's going to buff our character up with both these types of potions, and that'll persist through death and last the full duration of an hour. So those are usually something you're going to pop on right before you start entering combat, and then every time it's about to expire, you'll turn them off. There's a more powerful form of the stat potion, the offensive one, called Liniments. These are harder to get, more expensive, but they have better effects. So for example, the Liniment of the Tolling Bell that I have right here increases intelligence by 60, but also gives me 5% chance to crit. And then I have one here that gives me more wounds and less chance to crit. There's one that gives willpower and healing power. There's one that gives wounds and healing power. There's one that gives weapon skill and reduces your chance to be crit. A lot more effects on these ones. Harder to find. You can get them on the auction house. There are purple seeds that can drop in dungeons to craft them, but they're rare. So these are for more special occasions when you're going to be doing a ranked match, or you're going to be doing a city siege. Not something you'll use all the time unless you are very rich. That kind of covers the permanent style buffs. Then you have the active use in combat potions. So these are going to be things like health pots to give you instant health back or regen health over a period of time. These are going to be things like action point pots to give you more action points and instant burst of them. These can be things like let's see if we can find it in my bag here. This can be things like torch pots, where you'll throw a blasting potion on an enemy to do damage over time. You can use a snare potion to snare your enemy from a distance. You can have things like absorb shields as well, to absorb a certain amount of damage over a period of time. Absorb pot. So all these things can be used in combat, and most of them share a cooldown. So the good way to think about it is there are 5 real in-combat use items, potions that you can use. There's going to be 2 different action point potions, one that you'll buy from a crafter, apothecary will make these, one you'll buy from the merchants in the city. The merchants who sell the potions will be here in the war quarters in Altdorf, and in IC, they'll be down here in the Undercroft. So you'll be able to get one from a crafter and one from an apothecary. Sorry, one from an apothecary and one from a merchant. Then same for a health potion. You can get one from a crafter and one from the NPC. So right off the bat, you have 4 different potions here that you can use in combat. And that's a pretty big boost. I mean, they don't share a cooldown. So at one time, you can gain back 3,300 health while also gaining, over 200 action points if you use all these at the same time. You can also use an absorb shield in combat too. Usually they go for about 1875 absorb, so an additional pool of health. So it can make a big difference in a fight against someone who's not using potions. That one player has their regular AP health pool, but then has an additional 5,000-6,000 extra health from potions and absorbs and all that. Plus, if they run out of AP or they're drained or they flee, they can pop their AP potion. One of the best tricks in the game is when you're chasing someone to hit your flee ability, which drains all your action points, but then you just hit an action point potion and it gives you something to play around with. You won't gain more, but at least you can fire those off in combat, and you're back up to 235, at least able to keep casting things on the run that maybe you wouldn't be able to cast otherwise. So potions, very useful. It can be expensive, and usually you'll find it either you're going to craft it yourself and make an apothecary and butcher and cultivate to get materials and then craft it. That's the best way. If you don't want to do that, you can just go to the auction house and buy them there. It's pretty, depending on the potion you get, it can be pretty expensive or pretty cheap. You're typically looking for Draft of Recovery, which is the regular heal potion. They go for pretty cheap. A stack goes for 40, for 1 gold for 40, which is pretty good. But if you look at the blue potion, which is a lot more expensive and a lot harder to find, a stack can go for 24 gold. Now, if you're a new player, that's a little crazy. You're probably not going to want to buy too many of those, but as you get more senior into the game, you start accumulating your resources, you might start branching out. And also, if you're a crafter, you might get some of those too to keep yourself in stock. I think that about covers it for potions. Hopefully that gave you a good idea of where to get them, how good they are in combat, and how to use them. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.